hey, guess what's out? It's out, it's out, and people are taking them. They're hot off the shelves. They're going fast. The Village Breeze is out, and I want to welcome Susan Logan McCracken to our program. You are the one who oversees this whole magazine.
Yes,
What's that like?
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love working on a magazine. I love being able to serve the community in this way, and we're excited about this issue in particular. This issue was personal.
Yes.
As you know.
Yes, absolutely.
For me.
Well, let's talk about that. I want to jump right into that. You open this, page 1, there's an article on page 18 about skin cancers and being careful and those kinds of things, but you kind of wrote a personal story right here, the good news about skin cancer. That's what that headline grabbed me, first of all. So tell us what your story is.
Well, a year ago, I was diagnosed with basal cell carcinoma, and it was a recurrence of a skin cancer that I actually had for the third time. And so they had to do a surgery to remove the skin cancer and also do reconstructive surgery on my face with a plastic surgeon.
Wow.
So it was more complicated than most treatments. So that, and I'm still healing 1 year later,
Wow.
but I am happy with the results. And I think that should offer a lot of hope for people who have basal cell carcinoma, that there are treatments. It doesn't have to be disfiguring. And that's the good news. The good news is if you catch it early, there are skin-sparing treatments available, and we're just excited to bring this to people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's not probably a person in Southern California who hasn't grown up here, hasn't had multiple sunburns. Not our age, when we were kids, it wasn't as big a deal wearing sunscreen. It wasn't hit on us so hard as it is today, and we've got some skin damage, and it's just the reality of those things.
Yes, I don't know that sunscreen was even available.
Right.
When
the oils were, the sun tanning lotion.
Right. That was about the best that you could find, was a tanning lotion. But
yeah, and I remember my experience. My first one was like right here, a mole grew out of my forehead, like I was around 30 or something years old. I was like, well, I don't think I'm supposed to be getting new moles, and had it checked out. They removed it. It was a little cancerous mole, but so I think, and I've had little things burned off my face over the years too. So I have done that damage to myself, and I certainly know how important it is to get those regular checkups and do that. So great article in here from you on your personal story, but also page 18 about what we have to watch out for skin cancers and a number of the different kinds you can find. So good information there. What's it like putting this magazine together? Where do you start from?
First of all, we start planning the issue. We start discussing the issue with the team, and what are we going to include in this, and what should the theme be? And then we decide who would be the best fit to write this. And sometimes we write it in-house, and sometimes we use a freelance writer. We get contributors from the village itself. Residents send us their ideas. They submit photos, they submit article ideas, they submit information about their clubs, and you can see a lot of that information in Community Connected. Sometimes their photos end up on the cover, as it did with the last issue.
Right.
So.
What was that? What animal was that on the cover?
That was a rabbit.
That was the rabbit. That's right. I was trying to remember. I think before that there was a hawk or something like that.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, and you also kind of go through like departments. What's up in the village, Community Connected, like you said, social services. So there's just good information in these magazines too, in terms of how there are resources in the community and what you can do to participate in events and then get connected, like you say, right?
Yes.
Some of the other articles, who are we? It's Village Management Services. I think there's so many associations and different governing boards and foundations and those kinds of things that people kind of get confused about who does what and where do we go to. So that's kind of a clarity kind of article about what VMS actually does.
Yes, exactly. It actually was written in response to a letter to the Globe asking, what is VMS and who is VMS? So the chair of the VMS board, Diane Phelps, wrote this article, and it's really helpful just to see what VMS Inc. is, who the employees are, the services that we provide, and who the VMS board is, and how this entity fits in with all the other mutual boards.
Mhm. Now, there's another article in here. It's on the cover. It's one of the ones that's mentioned on the cover, Living to 100. And I think people in a retirement community love to hear that idea. They want to enjoy this place as long as they can. And so what's that one about?
Yes. Well, researchers found places on the map. They called them blue zones,
Right.
simply because they marked them with a blue marker.
It became that nickname.
Yes, exactly. And they found that these areas had the highest concentrations of centenarians. So they did some research in all these areas, and of course, diet and exercise, that plays a role. But one of the things they discovered is what they called a third place, a third place where people can go apart from just their home or their work to regularly bond with other people, that they belong to this area. Having that sense of community and purpose is something that is common in all these places.
Right. And I think Laguna Woods Village is certainly a great example of that. I mean, more than 200 clubs,
Yes.
all sorts of pools, activities, recreation, golf, lawn bowling. I mean, it runs the gamut. I think it's almost hard not to find a community within this community to make yours, right?
Right, and that's exactly it. That's a wonderful opportunity to get involved in the village clubs and amenities and the houses of worship that are here, and all the places where you can find community.
Yeah, and I think one of the challenges is, like, sometimes isolation can be just as unhealthy as poor eating habits or smoking or drinking. Just that sense of I'm alone, or that depression that can be onset with that.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
So
very true.
One of the things to watch out for, most certainly. Some of the other things you guys are talking about in the magazine, we got a ton of articles. Why don't you tell me, what do you think your favorite from this edition?
The favorite, you probably touched on it, probably the Living to 100.
I know, right? Who doesn't want that?
and actually, we did find out in a little bit of research that the village has over 50 residents who are over 100,
Really?
and over 1,000 residents who are over 90.
Okay.
So, and that was a fun statistic that we found.
What's your favorite part about putting this magazine together? Is it the creation of it? Is it the working with folks? Is it the whole community that you serve?
Well, I think with a magazine, having something to hold in your hands that is a compilation of all the work that you put into it for the past few months, having something to hold and see that you've done. And editors are packagers. We take the work of writers and we package it. We put a headline on it. We put subheads on it. We, sometimes we'll create sidebars.
Right.
And then we select the photography and the artwork, and so we package our writers' work, and that's a fun position.
If folks are interested in maybe writing an article, they think they have an interesting story to tell, how can they do that?
They can email me. My email address is susan.logan-mccracken@vmsinc.org.
Okay. And are you already putting together, are you talking about the next issue, or what can we preview for
Yes,
that? I don't
we are.
want to spoil
no,
anything.
That's okay. That will be our 60th anniversary issue.
Oh, that's right.
The Village's 60th anniversary is September 10th. And so this issue will be all about nostalgia and the history of the village and the history of the residents, and we're going to celebrate this 60th anniversary.
Oh, that's going to be a collector's edition.
Yes, hopefully
You should probably print more if you already aren't planning on it. Print some extra ones on that one. Well, you guys pack a lot of great information into one magazine. It's really wonderful. I love going through this every time the new edition comes into our office. I always take a look. Thank you, Susan McCracken, so much for coming in and talking to us about this today.
Thank you, Michael.
You're watching This Day, and when we come back, we're going to be talking to the Garden Villa Association. Stay with us.